Self-interest is a real thing. And if we can convince you that your greatest self-interest is to be yourself, to be the lover that you are born to be, to live the prosperity that you were born to live, and the clarity and the vitality and the flexibility and the fun. And once you start calibrating to that, it doesn't take very much of you deliberately focusing and affecting your point of attraction and then seeing the results of it before you can come to the conclusion that you are blessed. And here's why we are so sure of this. Most people offer most of their output, their focus, vibration, energy, whatever you want to call that. They offer most of it as a result of what they are observing. So doesn't it follow that if you can deliberately drop some marbles in your bag so that you are deliberately activating your point of attraction, and then you get to witness what the law of attraction does in response to that? Now, isn't that habit of observation going to serve you? That's why the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. But you got to start out there with some real point of understanding your own guidance system. And that's really what your guidance system is doing all the time. Your inner being is not saying, oh, no. We've been telling you and you haven't been listening, and so now you're on your own. Your inner being never says, you have to live with the consequences of your foolishness. Your inner being never, ever stops giving you the information that matches who you really are and what you're most asking for. The other day, Esther was talking to someone on the phone who is in the middle of some strong negative attraction. And Esther was saying, it's okay. Sometimes it's just like that. Don't beat up on yourself. Just don't keep telling these stories to people, because that's just perpetuating it. And then it went on a little while longer, and Esther sort of found herself being repetitive. And she said, it must just feel terrible to have somebody talking to you when you feel so engulfed in something so big, and somebody else is trying to make it light and fluffy and like it doesn't really matter. But I really am just trying to make it light and fluffy like it doesn't really matter. But I know you can't hear it. When you're in a position where you can't hear it, don't be mad at yourself because you can't hear it. Say things to yourself like, law of attraction is the real deal. And I've got some momentum going here. And I worked hard for this momentum. And I'm not making this stuff up. And I don't want that. In other words, we're not asking you to not face reality. We're asking you to choose a reality that you prefer. And you cannot choose a reality that you prefer while you're defending the reality that you've got that you don't like. You've got to do something different. And talking to other people, when you're in a jam and you talk to other people, Esther remembers not too long after Jerry made his transition, and Esther went to Australia with a very small crew to do a seminar for Hay House. And Esther thought, ooh, wouldn't it be fun if we did a helicopter ride? Because Esther had done it before. So she spent some time online looking for the best helicopter and the longest ride that went the most places. And it cost the most money, way the most money. But Esther knew what she wanted, and so she booked it. So they got over there, and they got in the helicopter, and off they went, and they had headphones on so that they could hear each other, and they could hear what the pilot was saying, and they could hear what was being said from outside to the pilot. And it was just way, 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 way fun. And Esther knew this was to be a 90-minute ride. And it was so going to be worth it, because that 90 minutes would take them to that place that Esther really wanted them to see. And then she had the feeling that the helicopter was turning around in the sky, a great big... And Esther said, are we going back? No answer. Why have we turned around? No answer. Are we at the halfway point? No answer. And Esther thought, I know you can hear me. Because I can hear you and everybody else, I can hear you. So he took them back and landed 20 minutes shy of what Esther's expectations were. Now, everybody that had been with her had the time of their life. They loved what they saw. They loved how fun it was. It was the nicest helicopter Esther had ever been in. It was the most wonderful experience for all of them, not for Esther. Not for Esther. And here's the part that we really wanted you to hear. Esther was mad at her friends that didn't defend her. Why are you being so bright and shiny when we have been robbed of 20 minutes of pleasure? Don't you understand that something has gone terribly wrong here? Esther just couldn't let it go. Just kept dropping little things. Not one of them picked it up. Not one of them. It's like they've been listening to Abraham. And like Esther hadn't been. And so we know you feel the way you feel about things. In other words, Esther's justification was, well, I'm more invested. And it was my thousands of dollars that were spent. And it was me that spent the afternoon choosing this. Her expectation was stronger for what she wanted. So her disappointment was stronger when it didn't happen. But that's the thing that you have to figure out how to let go of. If you are justifying your disappointments, even when you're right, Esther was so right. That was so wrong. And that guy, that rat bastard guy, he did not offer one word of explanation because he knew he didn't have any legitimate explanation. There wasn't a hurricane coming. He had a full tank of whatever it is. He just saw all he wanted to see and he wanted to go home. At least that's what Esther decided it was. You get what we're talking about here? So here's the thing. You can't be the stage manager or the law of attraction manager. But what you can do is you can stand in your power and you can put easy existing matches into your bag of marbles. This is the bottom line of what you're all reaching for. You can, by understanding and focusing, you can clarify your bag of marbles, harmonize it with the power that is really you. You cannot get it wrong, and you never get it done. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because you never get it done. And now, don't you just want to go out and put deliberate marbles in your bag and see what happens? Not to control others, but to control your point of attraction so that the universe can demonstrate to you how blessed you are, how seen you are, how powerful you are?